Alright, so Cave Engine literally changed forever with this new feature that I'm about to show you, and I'll talk about this in a moment. And right now, let me know in the comments if you have a hint on what is new in the engine, what are you going to talk in this video. There's a lot of new stuff, but before I jump to the video, just a quick spoiler of what is coming to the engine. I'm about to release Cave Engine 1.3 beta for a specific amount of people, for a selected amount of people. I'm planning to release next week for around 10 people the beta access. So if you're interested in this, I'm particularly interested in two types of people for this engine, and I'll talk more in this video later on, so stay tuned for that if you want. So let's go ahead and talk about this. Yes, I'm talking about this Sky, but not only this Sky, I'm talking about the new procedural textures in the engine, and I'll go ahead and explain everything in this video. But before that, let me close the engine real quick and relaunch it, because I want to show you something else first. Okay, so I've launched it again, so I'm with the project manager, and I used to say that I want a software. For me, a software is like a joke, and if you need to explain the joke, then the joke is not very good, and the same for a software for a game engine. If I need you to watch 10 hours of tutorial just to get started with the engine, well, then there's something wrong, and it's not you, I promise. So I'm working very hard to make sure that the engine have a lot of stuff explaining everything. So this is not new for you. If you follow the engine, there is like stuff like this. If I mouse over everything, typical stuff. But now I'm improving even more with the hints, which is something that I've mentioned in the previous video. So for example, if I click here to create a new project, now, by the way, this is only the first time that you open, and you can disable this if you really hate this. Don't worry about that. But you can see tutorial windows here explaining everything that's going on. I need to improve a little bit where it is showing, because it is meant to show this entire directory here, but right now it's just showing this part. Anyways, so you can read and understand everything that is going on here. Good. Now I can create a new project. I can select a directory, select default game mode for my project, or if I want, I can even click here in advanced, and I have this entire new tab with a bunch of new stuff for my new project, which is sick. Like, you can configure, and pretty much, like, I want you to be able to pretty much create like 50% of any game just by adjusting the presets for the engine. It will be crazy good. Anyways, so let me go back. I don't want to create a new project here. I want to go to my game 22, which is the test game. The reason why I closed the engine and opened it again is because I wanted to reset the tutorials, because as I said, it only happens once. So the first time you open the engine, if you don't have access to the engine, it's your first time learning, you will learn everything by simply using it. So now there's a tutorial saying, oh, this is the viewport tab. You can see there's a basic information here. I want to improve the shortcuts. I want to be the available shortcuts always visible for you. This is something that I will work in the future. But anyways, you can see this. The engine does a quick overview of all the tabs here, so you can see the scene graph. I'm not going to read this, but you'll be able to see everything going on. So then I can start using the engine, and as soon as I hit a new tab that I don't know, you can see that I do have a tutorial on this tab, the timeline also. Anyways, so very simple stuff, but I believe it definitely helps a lot. These tutorials will also be present in more specific stuff that no one understands what's going on. So it will be very nice. And of course, again, if you mouse over most of the things in the engine, you can see there is explanation on what is this, how it works, and all that. If I select a transform, you can see there is explanation. So the engine is very well explained, and I want to improve this more and more. For example, the components, the first time you see the template, there's nothing saying what is this, so I believe I should add this for the first time you open the tags. Many people don't know the difference between the tags and the component, and I want to explain that. Anyways, many new things, and let me know in the comments if you think that I should explain something else here, if you have the engine. So that's it. So now let's jump to this video's main feature, which is the procedural texture. You can see there we have a texture here that is different. It's actually this texture here. It's a bad texture. It's not particularly artistic, but I'm a programmer and this is programmer art. Sorry for that, but this is just a test to see, well, this is a texture and it is moving literally in real time. And this is due to the procedural texture. So let me go ahead and create a new one just to show you real quick. So if I click here, new asset, now I have procedural textures. I do have default texture, which is a blank one, pearly noise, brick pattern, and sky texture. And by the way, all those textures here, you can change everything, but instead of the engine only providing you the basic procedural texture that you can expand on, I'm working to have some default ones, and this is why I'll talk about that in a moment, about the sky, which is I want to include a default code for the sky, and I also want to include a default code for water because many people ask for that. Anyways, let's create a default texture here. You can see that I do have a blue texture by default. I think I need to make this purple or something like that. You can set the resolution. You can mark this as dynamic or not. And if it's dynamic, it will update automatically. And by the way, this is very nice. The engine, let me, I can use this as any other texture, by the way. This is just like if you download an image from, I don't know, Polyheaven or from Google Images or whatever, it will be the same. Except that this one is procedural, and the way it works, you can see here that I do have a shader. Oh, this is the texture parameters as you expect, but if I click here in the shader, you will see two things. The first thing is the Python bind code, so I can write Python script to execute before this texture is rendered. So maybe I can retrieve some data about the scene, about your game and all that, and use this to render the texture, specify uniforms. And then of course I have here the procedural shader. Let me expand the shader over here real quick. You can see very basic GLSL shader that is basically setting a uniform color here, and setting the texture color to be this uniform. I can do crazy stuff. I can, for example, add vector 3. I can add a timer for this. This is a reserved name in Cave. If you specify a uniform floats timer, the engine will automatically pass an elapsed time. Jesus Christ, it's hard to say. Anyways, so if I click here, compile, submit the future, you can see now everything is black, but you can see it is fading up and down. And this will probably going to be even more visible if I multiply this by half and add half, because of course the sign goes from -1 to 1, so it makes no sense to multiply this, but now it will probably going to make a lot of sense. You can see now I have a dynamic texture. Very nice. And if I move this here, you can see my two textures are updating. This one is updating because I have them selected, but if I select something else, it will stop updating because the engine is actually smart. It is actually automatically computing if you're using the texture or not, and if you're not using it anywhere, it will not going to update this texture. So this is the dynamic version here. If I mark this as static, it will only update the texture once it's loaded, and never again, unless you manually call the update. But if I want to update stuff, I can do this. So let me show this real quick. You can see I do have the brick texture. It is moving here. So let me actually try to add this procedural texture to this cube. So I'll just drag and drop. It will create for me a material for my procedural texture. You can see the texture is updating. If I select something else, the texture is still updating, but the brick texture is no longer updating because, well, I am not using it anywhere. This will change if I duplicate this object and drag and drop the brick texture. You can see now they are both updating. Very nice. So this way you can add crazy textures, you can create very advanced stuff. Maybe, I believe you can even mix two procedural textures together. Let me actually try this. I'll actually save this project because I don't want to mess things up. But what happens if I like maybe use this procedural texture here to multiply the brick texture? Let's go ahead and try this. I'll go ahead to my uniform here and I'll create uniform sampler 2D to take a texture, and I do multiply text, stuff like that. And then what I'll do, man, this will be crazy if it works. G color XYZ times texture, and then I'll pass this. By the way, the editor here is still work in progress, so we can see that it is a little bit wrong, like the cursor here. This is the new editor. I'm working on this, so I definitely need feedback for that. Anyways, let's actually multiply x, y, z. Very nice. So let me compile the texture. Now it's black because the uniform here, I do have the multiply texture here. If I make this white, hopefully, oh no, it's still not working. So this is the brick, right? Huh. The multiplication here is not working. Texture multiply text. Huh. Okay, this doesn't work at the moment. As you can see, I'm just developing this feature, and I have no shame to show you the development of this feature because I believe it's very nice to get feedback and to see, oh, this works, this doesn't work, and all that. Anyways, so back to the main feature here, which is the good old sky. Previously in Cave, at least like one version ago, if you create a new project, if you create, let's go ahead and create a new level here. Now let's go ahead to level 2. You can see that in this level, I've just selected a different one, by the way. There is a sky, but you can see it is a skybox, and this is a static texture that I've downloaded from Polyheaven, more specifically to HDRI Heaven. You can see static image, pretty standard stuff. There's nothing new, but the problem is it's a static image. So if I, for example, select my sky here and change the sun direction, of course I need to see what's going on here. So you can see that the sun is now wrong. If I rotate this, maybe if I make it negative, like 4 a.m. because the sun is here below, so it's dark, it is still wrong. So if you're creating a game where you need a dynamic sky, this is not going to work. It's not going to be very good for you. So what can you do? You can create a procedural texture for the sky. You can see this is an HDRI sky, very nice. And I can actually use the sky, as I just showed to you in the other scene, to basically add a skybox that is procedural. So let me go to the scene 2. Here in the sky, I'll actually change this to my sky texture. You can see things are already changed. And where is my sky? You can see it is wrong. Why? Because I do have a sky angle here, and this is wrong. So let me actually rotate this. Because I was compensating before, now I don't need to, because if I go ahead and move my sky, you can see that now I have, how cool is that? This sky working just fine, just as you can expect. I can make this super, not very bright at all, so you can see, or I can make it very, very crazy bright. And of course, I'm probably gonna have to change some numbers here if it's too bright like that. Anyways, but the idea here is that, let me go ahead to and go back to the scene 1, because this will show you this material that I created. This is, where's the material? I can specify the roughness, all the good stuff that you can expect from a material. But anyways, and basically I just placed this here so we can see what's going on with the skybox. And it is dynamic. If I click here in the sky, I can change the settings here. For example, I can change the sun size. It's 0.02, 0.02. Right now, I can make it crazy big. Maybe if you want to do this, I don't know. You're an artist. I'm just a programmer creating the tool for you to create a game however you feel like. So if you want to do this, you're fine to do it. You can change the zenith and all the other colors that composes the sky. So if you want, you can do crazy things. I don't know what I'm doing really, but maybe you can do this if you feel like it's good. You can also adjust the cloud, and I really like the cloud system. It's a simple one. I want to improve it. By the way, I do have the cloud speed, so let me make the cloud very fast. This is so nice. And maybe I don't want clouds anymore, so let's Boom, no clouds. Great. Maybe I want to change the thickness of the atmosphere. Make a very thick atmosphere. I don't know what it means. If you know, if you're into physics, let me know that. I don't know what it means, but well, we can do it. And let me go back to the and bring the clouds again. Whee! Lots of clouds. I can also, let's put half of it. I can change the density factor. You can see not very dense clouds, but if I keep scrolling, they become very dense, which is nice. Well, I can change the amount of clouds to make everything overcast. Can find a middle ground between it. Very nice. And you can see the reflections here are updating because this is a procedural texture. How cool is that? So let's go to the nighttime. I just need to, oh, by the way, if I rotate the sun, now I don't need to worry about this. The sky will be at the correct place every time. Very cool. Let me save the game. And of course, I don't even need to say, if I play the game, you can see fine. By the way, the shading looks weird from this character because this is a test bench, so I'm testing a bunch of stuff. So I always messed up everything, like the shaders. Let's see, where's this guy? I mean, I feel like I don't need to do this right now, but I still do it because I'm weird. Anyways, I'm not gonna mess up with this. Oh, the roughness looks weird. Yeah, it's better now. Anyways, but back to the video. If I go ahead and make this night, you can see that now I have stars. And again, if I go back to my sky, I will probably gonna be able to adjust the brightness of my stars, so I don't have a lot of stars, or maybe I have a lot. Let's remove the clouds here real quick so we can see the stars. Maybe I want to make them less dense. So there's only a few stars. Maybe I want to have more. You can see they tend to group together. Let's add clouds again. And that way you can customize your stuff. And by the way, yes, you can change. This is painfully hard to adjust because I'm not an artist. So I don't know how the sky was supposed to look like. I think I like this way, but let's mess it up just for the video. Let's make this purple. So now I have a purple night. Oh my God, it would take forever to think about the right one. And again, you can adjust the shader. You can do stuff. By the way, in this shader here, what I'm doing is I'm getting the sun. You can see that I'm getting the scene and then the sunlight. And then I'm getting the forward vector and passing as an uniform to the shader, also the sun color and the sun intensity. I'm multiplying it by a low value because the sun intensity is very high. So it will mess up things. But of course, this is what the shader is for, right? I feel like I need to make a sunset and a sunrise shader. But of course, again, you can modify the shader. The shader is here. You can do whatever you want with the shader. So if you don't like how I'm doing, or if you want to start from scratch, you can do it just like I showed. This is a brand new canvas for you to do whatever you want. So yes, I'm very excited for this new feature. I believe it will expand and be very cool, very, very fast. So let me know in the comments what you think about that. And last but not least, I said that I wanted to talk a little bit more about the beta test. Yes, next week, I want to select around 10 people to do a different thing here this time. I want to beta test Cave 1.3. So I will first release a beta version for Windows, and then I will release a beta version for Linux. But again, it will be only for a limited amount of people. And I'm looking for two types of people. The first people is if you already have the engine, if you already have Cave, you've used it in the past, maybe for a few hours or a lot of time, but you do have some experience with game dev or with Cave. It's one of the other. It's good, and you want to try it out to see what's going on. Send me a direct message on my website. I'll leave the link here to my profile, and of course you need to be in the website to download Cave in the first place, so this is not going to be anything crazy. So send me a direct message over there if you are interested into testing this version. And the second group of people that I'm looking for is if you don't have the engine, but you're waiting to get the engine and you decided, hey, Guilherme, okay, I want to get the engine now, so I will just get it. How can I test it? If you are this person, get the engine and send me a direct message in the website as well, because I'll be selecting, and tell me about yourself a little bit, and I'll be selecting a few people as well to become part of this beta test. Also, I want to give to you somehow, so I will be providing for anyone that beta tests this engine a free key to my latest game on Steam, Crawl, so you'll be able to play and enjoy and have a great time as well, and it to be for free just as a thank you for testing the engine. Also, last thing, one very important thing, if you want to test the engine for the first time, you're just getting the engine, and if you want to record the first half an hour of you testing the engine, it will be so good. So if you're into that, let me know as well in the direct message that you send me, because I will appreciate that. Anyways, and I'll take that into account as well, because this will help the engine so much. Anyways, that's it for this video. There's a lot of stuff that I need to improve here in this procedural texture. As you probably saw, there's a lot of things that are not quite there yet. So I'm just adjusting things. But I want to release the procedural texture for 1.3, even if I have to like put a giant warning, this is an experimental symbol over there, because it will be so, man, just look at that. We can have sky now in cave. It took so long to have this back, because if you don't know, maybe 2 years ago, cave used to have this, but it was very, very bad, like amazingly bad. You have no idea how bad it was. And now we have sky shaders again, but not bad. Now we have good ones. So this is so nice. Oh, by the way, one last thing. If you disable dynamic, it will stop updating the sky. And this is an optimization, by the way. So if you want to optimize your game, you can do it. But of course, since it's no longer dynamic, if I change the sun, look at this, the wall now, it's not dynamic, it's not updating. So if you want to update it, you need to go ahead and probably enable this again, and it will be updated. So that's it for this video. Let me know in the comments what you think about that. I'm very excited about these new features, and I can't wait to talk to you. My name is Guilherme, and I see you in the next video. Bye!